Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. I'm joined here by superfan Riley Goldman, superfan Devin Circus. This is the Week 9 recap of Jungle Talk. Yeah, hey, come on, we won.
Today.
So now I know I've got this mic that mutes stuff, but we're gonna try. We're gonna come up with something different for next season. But for right now, this is what we got. So we're gonna try to get this where it doesn't mute it. Do we hear anything?
We got most
Very
of it.
exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to start out softer because when the initial blast comes, the mic mutes. That it's just designed that way. So, but so hey, a win's a win. All
Not a
right.
Yeah.
W.
You know what?
Yeah.
This was a prettier win. Um, I think
Yeah.
we learned some stuff at the end of the game about like staying focused and not taking things too nonchalantly. But we were supposed to beat the Raiders. We did beat the Raiders. Like I said, good game, a balanced game. We actually set up a running game. I mean, Burrow had 3 touchdowns. He didn't even have 200 yards, or he had 4 touchdowns to get
Three, get five.
I
I've
total, but I'm saying when when he got to like 3 or 4 touchdowns, there was one point he only had like 170 yards
Oh
pass.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't that kind of game where so I just like I said, real pleased. Uh
Did everything we were supposed to do. We
yeah,
did everything we
no.
were supposed to do.
So it was a Halloween week, so we got Marvin Lewis's return to Cincinnati, which I have no animosity. He changed the culture coming with what he took over on the Dark Decade, and then Joe Burrow was a popular Halloween costume this week. Whitworth dressed up as him. We know that Macaulay Culkin dressed up as him.
Colin Calkin was good. I didn't see
that was
Whitworth.
Oh, Whitworth was they at the post game they all put costumes on, and one person was David Njoku, and they went through
Oh, yeah. I
and
was driving to LA. I was
Whitworth
just listening to the game on the
put on
radio.
the blonde
Didn't see it.
wig, and he was wearing like a tank top, and he was Joe Burrow. So it was
Nice.
yeah. So very good. So, but yeah, hey, like I said, I feel good. It's a game we were supposed to win, and now we gotta buckle down for for Baltimore this week.
short week.
Short week
So
on the road.
so
Yeah.
well, there was a few things we got to clean up, and I'm not trying to be negative here, but Yoshivats has to be in it for the whole play. He missed several blocks that were just like I said, it didn't cost us today. Let's see him on film and let's be focused. And then I think everybody on the planet knew Burrow was going to throw it to Chase on that play. Just telegraphed it. Yoshi missed the block, and it's a pick six. And like I said, didn't hurt us. We were up 21, but it kept Burrow
Right.
in the game longer. That's stuff that we can't have that against Baltimore. So
Yep.
so
They're
I,
not used to being up 21 points. First time
yeah,
all year, right?
yeah. So well, you could see, and
This,
I was happy they were trying to get the knockout punch. He's throwing deep to Chase, right, to try to get the knockout punch. Overall, I was happy, and I was happy we established the run. Um, I thought
Yeah,
that
the running game looked great. That's
Chase
been a
Brown
big
is
knock. Yeah. My
Chase Brown's
comment,
legit.
comment earlier, yeah, I made a comment earlier in the game to Jake. Can Chase Brown really hold up for 25 carries? And he got, what was it, 24, I think.
no, at
100
27 at one point.
was it? Okay.
I don't know what
That,
and I don't know if anybody can look it up, but at one
I
point
have
he was
it.
at
yeah,
27
27.
carries.
I got it,
27.
27.
Yeah,
So, we'll see how the body holds up next couple of days. He's got a short day to recover. It'll be very interesting to see what happens with the injuries. Orlando Brown, T. Higgins, and Zach Moss on the short week. You got to assume probably they were either kept out today to get them right for Thursday,
right.
or if they're out today, they're going to be out Thursday, is what you'd think. What you'd expect to think. So see what happens over the next couple of days. Very curious to see how Brown's body holds up after 27 carries. He certainly doesn't
And 5 receptions.
feel like a workhorse type back, but he was great. And Burrow's going to get a game ball. It's one of my favorite things, watching Zach in the locker room.
Right.
Not only does Brown deserve one, but the O-line has been much maligned on run blocking all year long. They've done a really, really good job on pass blocking, but kudos to the offensive line without Orlando Brown, with Cody Ford. I don't think Burrow got hit from that side. So,
No, he
kudos
didn't.
to him. and the entire
Yeah.
line for tremendous run blocking for Chase Brown. I mean, it was 6, 7, 8 yards a clip the entire first half when the game mattered and the game was, in question.
The one breakdown happened on the Cody Ford side was the one where Burrow pulled his Houdini and got out of it and then got I don't know if he ran for the first down or he got the completion, but it was kind of a
And
gut
I know the one
wrenching
you're
because they
talking
had
about.
him. Yeah, they had
Yeah.
him. So, but that's the only time anything came from the other side. Max Crosby, I guess, didn't hear the whistle. There was no animal. I mean, those weren't dirty plays. I mean, Hendrickson would have
No,
done the same thing on those plays if he didn't hear the whistle or the shove. But there didn't seem
correct.
to be. There was
Nothing dirt. No,
sportsmanship.
Max is a good. I like Max Crosby a lot. I will say the second one, it should have been flagged
The push.
when
Yeah,
Burrow
the
threw
push.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That by definition, that's a flag. And the first one, Jake and I were talking about it before they called the penalty. They could have picked that up, but I think the flag was because it was helmet to helmet, not unsportsmanlike or after. Well, I don't think that was called because it was after the whistle. I think it was called because it was helmet to helmet, and you're not going to pick that up once it goes helmet to helmet.
It was actually a really late whistle.
Oh
It
no,
should have.
it absolutely was, and that's why
Yeah.
Crosby
Yeah.
probably gets a pass on the hit. That's what I meant. He
Yeah.
gets a pass on the hit, but not on the helmet to helmet, which is why I think they kept the flag.
Yeah. For the first time in a while, I can't remember. We went back to back on the touchdowns, end of the first half. There was that little
Yeah, we
possession in the
flipped.
middle. So it's not a true double dip, I guess, because the Raiders did have a possession, but follow
No,
with the touchdown.
no. We scored with 20 seconds left in
Right, right.
the,
Yeah.
and
So
then scored first possession third. That's completely taking advantage of the middle eights, which
yeah. So no,
completely
that
flipped
was
the script from last week. Last week
Yeah.
we lost one 14-0. This week we won it 14-0. And
yeah.
it's underrated. Jake turned me on to that probably 2 years ago, but it's underrated how much winning the middle fours or the middle eight can flip the script on a football game. And it did last week against us, and it did this week for us.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Belichick was the master of that. Was the
Yeah.
absolute master of that. I guess Riley had some action going in the background, but in
Hopefully,
terms of
hopefully it
getting
was a
New
female
England
for
when
him.
Brady was there, New England that was their classic move. Scoring going into
Yeah.
the locker room, scoring coming out of the locker room, and all of a sudden, there's some distance or you're back in the game. So
Yep.
yeah, no, absolutely. I have a couple other notes I just want to touch on. We asked Battle to do something really important today, which was guard Bowers.
Yeah.
First of all, real questionable PI to start the game. I didn't like that kept the drive
No, that was
alive.
PI. That was
Was it?
PI.
It
Okay, all
definitely
right.
was.
No,
It definitely was.
but he had a really big pass break up on third down, which got us one of our stops. And but Jordan Battle looked really good today. So
Yep.
and the other thing I have in my notes I want to talk about is we had the Eric All injury. BJ Hill went out like the third quarter, I think. I didn't hear what his was. They didn't make a
It
big
was
deal out of
rib.
it. Yeah.
Rib.
Rib.
Okay. And then so he's probably going to be available, but the All injury did not look good.
No non-contact knee to a guy with ACL history. Wouldn't surprise me if he's done for the year.
Yeah, I jumped on Jaceki in my fantasy league. I already posted that I'm picking him up. That was the one thing that kept me is neither guy got enough action because of the two of them. But that was not that was one of the bad things. There were a lot of injuries. The Raiders were out there
Yeah.
like every
Yeah.
other
Open like flies.
there was like no offensive line left when Ritter came in. So
The whole NFL today I just kept getting notifications through my fantasy leagues of injury, injury, injury. Chris Olave went down, like
That was a
four
bad
other
one, by the way.
guys.
That was a
yeah.
bad one, Olave, and it was all Carr's
Was
fault.
it?
Threw him a hospital ball.
Oh, I hate that. I hate to see that. So
Go on Twitter and look at Michael Thomas, the former Saints wide receiver. Absolutely blasting Carr.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
2 straight tweets killing him.
yeah, I picked the Saints today because I really thought him coming back, and it's that's disappointing. So also, ch I don't know. I'm okay. We did the challenge on the punt, but if you watch the replay, that the probability of getting an angle that was going to overturn that was
The
so
game was
slim.
over. He did it. He did it just to throw the
Yeah,
kid.
but yeah,
We're up 21 at the time. They did it just because it would be cool if there was an angle that showed it.
right.
They knew it wasn't. It
Yeah.
was a back. You could tell live.
Yeah. So it was just, but once again, a great punt.
Yep.
It's
I
Yep.
mean,
you know,
he averaged almost 60 yards of punt today.
Did
He's
he
yeah.
have
been
good numbers
averaging
today?
like 55 on the year, I think, something like
Both
that.
guys were netting the Raider punter
Yeah.
boomed a couple 70 yarders that only got 5 and 10 yard returns. So they had a net 60, a net 65. I mean, the Raider punter, both the punters were close to
Wow.
the ball today.
Their guy netted 56 and Rackhow netted 58.3.
See, both guys. I just felt like that when the punters were
They
out
had
there.
a
It
Cole
was,
had a 70 yarder. Rackhow had a 65 yarder. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, he had a
And hey,
70
Evan
yarder that
McPherson
only had a
didn't.
5 yard return. So it was a
Yeah,
65 net on that.
yeah.
Uh,
So
And hey, Evan McPherson didn't miss a kick today. So
Devin
yay.
McPherson, yeah. So overall, like I said, you get this 4 red zone trips. I took these notes during the game, so there probably was more. But at one point, we were 4 for 4 with touchdowns in the red zone. I don't know what we finished out with, but it was a lot. And
yeah.
the ball bounced our way on the on the turnovers today.
Yeah,
So
Logan had two. Trey
Yeah.
Hendrickson, welcome back.
yes,
I think I saw
Oh yeah.
7 QB hits,
yeah, he
seven
was.
QB hits, 4 sacks.
4 sacks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4 sacks.
I mean,
I think one forced fumble or maybe even two.
yeah. Logan
he had
picked
a
up one
pass
of them.
deflected.
Yeah, no, and
Um,
then there was
yeah.
then there was and it's a offensive once the Raiders started losing offensive linemen and they were making a joke about Gerald Johnston needing to go down to the field and suit up if anybody else got
Yeah.
hurt. But once they started dropping, the Matson one is, he's looking upfield because he knows he's going to get crushed and that fumble. So, overall, good game, some stuff to clean up.
Did
I
what we
say,
needed to do.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We weren't
I,
going to learn it. We weren't going to learn anything in this game from a win. If it had gone the other way, I don't. We would have learned that the season's over.
oh
But
yeah,
this is
no,
one
we
of
would.
those. Do what you need to do. Keep everybody healthy. Two injuries we got to keep an eye on. The three guys that didn't play that we need on the field, and we see. Get ready for Baltimore.
I agree with you on Zach Moss. I think they needed the extra time because he's key to come in and spell Brown, especially on pass protection. So we
Yes.
really need
Yes.
him
Chase
on
Brown's not
Thursday.
a 27 carry guy.
No, and
Chase
we don't want to
Brown's
do
an
that against
18.
Baltimore.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not going to hold up.
If Chase Brown gets 18 carries and Zach gets 6 carries and is in for pass protection and Zach has 5 receptions, that's a recipe for success for us.
Yes, I agree.
Definitely.
I definitely agree. The last thing I want to touch on, I didn't want to start the show with it because it's negative, but I'm reading
Wayne
Burton
Burton.
missed the walkthrough. Yeah, I mean,
He
this
didn't
was
show up.
he didn't show. Yeah, he just didn't show up for it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you were following on Twitter last night. We kind of caught wind of it last night. It was Battle's brother and I think it was Murphy's brother were tweeting, like the players knew last night, you could tell,
Yeah,
and told their families, and like Battle's brother tweeted, because obviously fans have been up in arms to see Burton on the field, and he tweeted last night, y'all gonna lose your mind tomorrow, something like that. And then there was an account that not it doesn't look like a real account, but had the report that Burton flat out did not show up to yesterday's walkthrough, and that he would be inactive.
I don't blame it. I don't blame the team at all for doing that. I mean, that's just this guy. Think about it. We were talking about Trenton Irwin in the game today. Then we had what was it, Pryor?
Pryor
Yeah,
had
I
a
mean,
freaking
A
reception.
this was
UDFA from 2 years ago,
this,
finally getting NFL action.
here was a game where we could really showcase you. You could get some action. I mean, everything was there for Burton, and he screws up and does this. I don't know what to think of this kid. You know, hard to. I don't understand the diva mentality when you haven't done. First of all, I don't understand it even when you've accomplished stuff. I don't forgive Antonio Brown for morphing into whatever he became.
Yep.
How do you haven't even done anything? You've already got that kind of mentality. I don't understand it at
Yep.
all. I just don't. So
Yep. No, I agree.
so Would have been nice. Hey, hopefully we get T back. But would have been nice to. This was a chance. Everything was set up for him. This guy can't get out of his own way. So, that's just a shame. So.
Yep.
All right, so short week. Let's not get too overconfident. We beat a bad team. So far,
Yeah.
we've beaten four bad teams. Okay.
Yep.
So now let's go out and do what we should have done when we played Baltimore before and win the game. But before I forget, please, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. We're going to be doing an early show this week. We usually put our previews out on Thursday, recaps right after the game. I think we're going to try for Monday morning is what we're set up for. So,
Oh, yeah.
but make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you know when our previews go up. And obviously, our recaps are available right after the game. Riley, tell them where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, on Spotify at the MFL podcast, EMFL. Took a week off from posting just with midterms and then my two Giants fan podcast mates were in New York for the World Series, so they took a week off, but we're back at it now twice a week, and yeah, check them out.
Well, they weren't happy with the outcome, but that's the
No.
way it goes sometimes, right?
Sucks to be
Right, Devin?
down.
Devin, who was at the parade, made the trip
Yes,
in from
sir.
Arizona to attend the parade. You have to appreciate that dedication. So, well, we will be back with a preview of the Baltimore game coming up. Like I said, short week, Thursday night. So, have a good rest of your Sunday, and I'm gonna say, "Who day, everybody?
Who
Good
dat?
day.
Take care."